Hello folks, it's Garden Frames here. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Floodgate 16 that I've recently timed. For Floodgate we only need Purge on the talent tree, so I like to get the Earth Elemental damage reduction for this one. So this first pull, what you must think about is the tank. The gather is kind of hard, the mobs from all sides, so I always like to open with Sprint Link Totem. We're not going to use the totem for a long time. Then we Lust. So I look for a surveyor and immediately focus at him. What can kill people here? Two things. The surveyor throwing shit at them and the surveyor casting at them. So it's always good to interrupt the surveyor. We can do a lot of damage here. I was a little bit worried about healing because it was my first 16 Floodgate. We also pulled a little crab, a little thing extra there that casting a poison on the warlock. So just keeping close attention on him. This pull gets over pretty quickly. I think the Unholy Decay, right? He procced a major beast, it looks like. Alright, so I always click on this box. I like to jump on the box, by the way, so that we don't have to move for the ground AoEs. The second pull, I always focus the surveyor to get his cast. And my focus, I have a macro that marks my focus as green. This is a PUG, by the way. They don't know that, but my interrupt is always green. Try to knock up this easy launch cast. Try to stun that cast. That cast can hurt in higher keys. And if a person gets hit by twice or two of those casts, they can die actually. Things being safe here, he's just pulling this side. And later he's going to do the Architect. So just chilling, we don't spend mana, just Riptide, using our healing stream totems. I really don't like spending a lot of mana if I don't need to on Rise of Shaman. And it's really possible now with the level of gear we have. I'm at 680 now on this key here. This pull, I think got two divers. Two divers not so bad. They're gonna cast Harpoon. They're gonna alternate between the casts. I think also is gonna pull the surveyor. I focus the surveyor so that I can interrupt him. Not a lot of damage going on here. Note that the tank did not pull the loader bots, which are the little guys that fixate and run towards someone, which is good. The architect can pin you to the ground, and then the loader bots are gonna hit you. So here just looking to interrupt the divers now. The surveyor is almost dead. I don't think he's gonna get a cast out. If he does, I still have the thunder shock, and that's what I use to knock him up. Alright, so we finish up the architect, and this tank, I think he doesn't trust bugs, so he's clicking the box himself. After that, the route that Pugs do here, and I think most people do now, is going to go to the duo first, not Mama. This is good. So the tank pulled 6 divers here, and even though this can look scary, they never cast together the Harpoon. The Harpoon is the only dangerous cast here, because it's going to pull people and can pull people into a bomb. So just keep an eye out for which diver is casting the Harpoon, and you can interrupt them. If no one has interrupts, I will use my knock and my Incap Totem here, right, to stop that Harpoon cast. The only thing that matters is the Harpoon cast. Of course, you cannot step on the bombs, but that's a given. So that one is casting. I use my totem. I'm using my knock up on that one. Here, I think, yeah, someone stepped on a bomb. I think it was the decay. So we all flew up in the air. No big deal, nobody died. Just keep an eye out on the Harpoon casts. Not a lot to heal here. Just keeping an eye on the Harpoon casts. The thing's the only one really that's taking damage. There's some damage from the Architect nailing people into the ground. I think the DK is gonna get like 3 casts in a row here. So you do have to pay a little bit of attention if that happens. But that's it. Yeah, like DK gets 1 cast. I get 1. Actually, the Warlock gets 1. DK gets another 1. And I'll hit DK gets another 1. So yeah, just be careful with the DK. He used his Headstone there. Warlock put a gate for us here. I'm trying to click, could not, so I used the item in my bag, the shard. I'll also choose that item. On this pool there are 2 surveyors, and they're the dangerous part of the pool. Just focus 1, interrupt the beam as soon as it casts, and you should be good to go. You can outrange the rotating AoEs that these mobs do. So what I'm thinking about here is I don't want to use any cooldowns, I don't want to waste a lot of mana here. Just doing DPS, right? Because the next boss does require some significant amount of single target healing. And as a shaman, I feel like that's not our best strength. That's when we spend a lot of mana, right, on healing surges. So just taking it easy here. You don't have to worry about people not gonna die here. They don't have to be topped up. Not spending healing surges or anything like that. Everybody's fine. Let's finish up this pool here. One thing that you might notice is that I have a big weak aura that is telling me when the healing range is not down. That big red thing in the middle of the screen. That's our biggest source of damage, biggest source of healing. Well, not biggest source of healing, but an important source of burst healing. Always have that down, always have that on melee, always have that under the boss. So you're gonna look at the boss jumps, I move the totem, right, immediately. Now I look for a cluster of bombs, and there it's important to move to the bombs before you see the bombs, right? So move to the little circles before you actually see the bombs, so you have time. Here I use my Shaman jump, very useful. I love this ability. I used to be a goblin just because of the jump. Now we don't have to be goblins anymore. The jump is super useful. I'm gonna use it one more time here, I think, on this boss. Another thing that I use a lot on this boss is the Master of the Elements. So sometimes you don't even pay attention to this buff, right? But every time you cast Lava Burst, your next healing surge is going to apply Flame Shock to a target, and it sets up to 2 times. So you can have a single healing surge cast 2 Flame Shocks. So you can keep double Flame Shock all the time here on this boss. And this boss does require some healing surges. So I always try to do 2 lava bursts, and then instead of refreshing the Flame Shocks by hand, I just healing surge someone, and that puts 2 Flame Shocks up. Super useful. And keep moving that totem. Totem's always under melee, always under the bosses. We actually do quite a bit of damage on this boss with 2 targets. We can help quite a bit. Again, looking for good bombs. You see the decays there. The secret to this fight is keeping an eye on who gets the debuff. They need a lot of healing, and just keep an eye on where they are. Start spamming heals on them as soon as they get the debuff, so they have time to run to where the bombs are gonna go. You can even put Earth Shield on them. I don't think it's necessary on a 16, but I'm thinking that on a 17, 18, I might have to do that to reduce their damage taken a little bit further. You have to spell fast. If it's one bomb that they get, whatever. You cannot let the dot stay on them. Here it doesn't matter, I'm going to dispel the Warlock immediately because the boss is dead. After this boss, I always like to run to the box, like in the tank. Maybe he has some bad bugs or something. He's also clicking with us, but he could be moving to the next pool already. So what pugs do here is they cross the river back. We're gonna go to Mama now, and we want to lust that boss, right? That's why we do this route, so that lust is back on that boss. So the tank points out that he wants to pull those 2 demolishers there. Not every tank, the demolitionists, not every tank does this, but if you have decay in the group, it's very good because you can pull the mobs together. This pool is dangerous. This pool is specifically dangerous for the tank, so keep a close eye on the tank. You gotta dispel that debuff because they take extra damage, shadow damage with that. And since there are 2 demolists, you're gonna be having to dodge a lot of the AoEs all the time. So here, there's a lot of these little shots from the 3 snipers as well. Just keeping an eye out for people that get 2 shots or 3 shots. They take some damage. Other than that, don't waste mana. Don't waste mana here because Mama is getting, it's going to be the next thing. And Mama does require cooldowns, and if you don't have cooldowns, it will require mana. for the intermission phases. So another thing to keep an eye on for this pull is keep knocking up the frontals, because sometimes people will miss a frontal. So this boss, I actually like this boss as Shaman because it can do a lot of damage, so you can do a lot of chain lightnings, and you know, that's some good prior damage that we have as Shaman. No one, you see Lust is back here, but I'm not gonna Lust because I'm looking at the DK cooldown, I'm looking at the Warlock cooldown. The cooldown's not up, so why Lust, right? You're gonna waste a lot of potential damage, and other than that, the intermission of the boss, it takes extra damage. So it's much more value for us to Lust the intermission when people do have cooldowns and the boss takes extra damage. No one is really in danger on this boss unless they get shot more than once, basically. So don't worry, no healing surge is necessary here. I Lust now because the DK cooldown is up and the intermission is coming up. On this first intermission, I like to do DPS, so I'm not even healing. Look. The DK used AMZ, then I use my healing strength, the Spirit Totem, just so that I don't have to yell that I can DPS the boss. We got the boss to 67 or 66%, which is very good for the first push. Again, always keeping the totem under the bot, right? The healing ring totem, surging totem. Chain lightning, chain lightning, chain lightning, chain lightning. Keep an eye out for people that get shot. One thing that's cool about Shaman as well on this boss is that you can interrupt every single cast. It's exactly 12 seconds between casts, and you have a 12-second interrupt. So I try to interrupt every single one. Super useful, right? Especially if you come from Disc Priest, which I don't. But, you can really carry the group here because if that cast goes out, that's a lot of damage. Right, so people did a lot of damage here because we had Lust. That's already dead. Here I will have to heal a little bit because I don't have Spirit Link Totem. But I do have Healing Tide, so I put the Healing Tide down. I also use Darkness, so not even worrying. Okay. Look at my mana, I'm at 95% mana or something. My mana is right above my cast bar there. Right, so the thing did ping the boss here. I don't think that was a good idea because we should be doing AoE damage still. We're at 24%. I don't think we can burn 24% before the intermission. So I almost died there. I did not have good positioning, so be careful with the frontals. And again, just keep an eye for the shots. You know, spot hitting people. If they're about like 70% health, they're fine. In my UI, when the health bar turns green, is because they do have that 10% health increase. I forgot the name of the talent that does that, but it's the Shaman 10% health increase. It's very powerful. So see, now the boss is DR'd, and we have ads with a lot of health. So here I really did not want to spend CDs because I didn't know if the tank wanted to do the next pull with the Blood Mage. I have nothing now, right? I literally have no CDs, I don't have Healing Tide, I don't have Ascendance, I don't have Spirit Link. So here I pretty much have nothing. That is my Healing String Totem. And hope that the tank is going to do the little click without pulling, and he does. So that's good for us. I do consider the Ancestral Swiftness where a good button to press, especially for hitting surges or chain heal. And I do consider the totem reset a cooldown for us there because we can reset Healing Stream Totem and do a lot of healing. So here I'm looking at my CDs and planning what I'm going to do for this next pull. This next pull does a lot of damage. What you should do here is keep an eye on the Demolisher. So he's going to cast his first one, that's intended, but the reloads, we want to stop every reload, right? I'm going to use Healing Spirit Link first, so I have Healing Tide for the next one, so it should be good. And I'm just keeping an eye on the cast of the Demolitionists, because if you stop the reload at the very last second, he's never going to do that huge AoE that people have to move. That's so nice. I think I'm going to knock him out. Nope. Someone stunned him, so we're good. I'm gonna knock him out soon. I use Healing Tide for the second one. I use my CD, my defensive, right, my wall. I'm gonna totem here. I'm sure if it was necessary, probably not. And I like to be near the boxes and click them quick as soon as the thing dies. Damage is very good, so I only cast twice. And well, a little take of the last cast. But we're good with that. Alright. So now we got all the boxes. Tank said he would pull crabs on top of the kelp. I think that's a little bit dangerous because of the you know, the whatever rotation thing they do, that thing there. It does a lot of damage. This was my bad, by the way. I could have saved the warlock there with healing surges, but I didn't because I was trying to knock them up. So just keeping an eye for that is crucial. Here I'm purging them one by one. So as soon as I see a magic buff on them, I'm purging. They're casting again. I have my totem. I'm waiting to see if someone's gonna stun. No one does, so I use my totem. I reset the stun totem. And don't be afraid to waste some mana here, right? Because these guys do a lot of damage, and it can be a point in the dungeon where you can wipe. On top of that, like, you have time to drink here because the tank has to do the little RP. I'm good with mana, but you could drink here. There's a lot of time. So a lot of people are scared of this boss. But two things to keep in mind. Number one, you don't take damage in this boss. Don't even worry about yourself. Don't worry about the tank. Worry about the 3 DPS. So as a healer, you should always be not stacked. You should always be on the side here at the beginning to try to bait the frontal to you, so that people don't have to move. If they do have to move, you immediately move your healing string, your surging totem under them. And you should have 1 cooldown for every cast. Okay, I have Healing Tide here, but the DK used AMZ, so I didn't spend any cooldowns here. If you want to conserve mana, that's fine. Like, look, no one has the dot now. No one is taking damage, so don't worry about it. Don't heal people. Don't spend mana. Here they have to dodge again. Look, I immediately move my surging totem, then I stack with the group. Here you can healing surge. Remember that after you put the totem down, the first healing surge is also gonna be double, right? You healing surge one person, and another person inside the healing ring gets also a healing surge. This is very powerful on this fight, especially if you create that surge. That does tremendous amount of healing in that phase. Again, they have to move. I move the totem. Always keep the totem under people. It's not just about the healing ring, healing. It's all the interactions you have. You have downpour. You have this healing surge after you put the totem down, right? Which is the water mode, I think. The healing surge is very important. That's the thing. Again, damage is over. I go to the side to try to bait the frontal. The frontal never went to me here.
3, 2.
There's one tank buster here. There's not much you can do about it. You can pre-cast a healing surge or healing wave on the tank if you think they don't have cooldowns. But it's up to the tank to survive that. You can just heal him back up as Shaman. Here is Link. We also have the AMZ back, so we're chilling with Link. I'm also on PUGs specifically. I'm thinking about the next poll, right? I'm thinking about, are we going to do bubbles? Because if we're going to do bubbles, I need cooldowns for bubbles. And that's one part of this dungeon that can be challenging, is you needing cooldowns for both this boss and the next pool. Especially if the boss lasts a long time. Here, look at the mana. We're chilling. We're like 70% or something like that. Now, in here, I ran out of cooldowns. So on the next guess, I might need to spend some mana. Right. Healing Tide is almost there. Okay, boss died, so we don't have to worry about that. Now, when you have a warlock in the group, there's a very cool skip we can do here, where if you don't trigger bubbles, you can all gate at the same time and run, and bubble is going to spawn behind you. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. I've never done this before, actually. It's the first time I'm seeing this. You see the warlock positions the portal right on that line there. We stay behind it, count down. We all use the portal at once, and we run. There we go, and now bubbles is going to spawn behind us. We don't have to do bubbles. So I'm actually getting a warlock next time I do this dungeon. Okay, this is a big pool that the tank does. We have the big guy that does a lot of AoE damage, and we have 2 casters. Immediately focus one caster. You do not want to let him cast. One thing to keep in mind on this pool is that anytime someone gets that magic debuff, you have to dispel them. Otherwise, they will be stunned at the end of the countdown, and they'll die. So just dispel on cooldown and keep either interrupting or knocking or stunning people. As a shaman, that's your strength. Well, right, not letting cast pass. When I plug as this priest, I get irritated when a cast goes through because I love playing my shaman and being able to just control the group, control the ads. Not a lot of damage when there's one guy on a 16. Just keep healing, so, the healing rain down, and keep spot healing people with Riptide. Riptide always on cooldown, never let Riptide go. Cap the charges even if no one needs healing, because with Riptide you can proc that DRE, right, Deep Rooted Elements, and get a Ascendance for free, which is a lot of help. Another dangerous pool, 2 casters and the dudes that do the frontal. Again, focus 1, keep interrupt. I have a big focus cast bar in the middle of my screen. I have actually 2 so that I interrupt people. I'm using Atrocity UI pack here, and it has some nice quick auras and plater profiles too. For plater, I'm actually using, I think it's called Jandi's. For me, it's the best because I'm kind of old and it lets me see the casts very well. I need to dispel myself, but I was on cooldown. Now, the tank did not pull some crabs that he needed to pull, so we're gonna have to do these last 2 guys. Okay. These last 2 guys do quite a bit of damage, but we don't want to spend cooldowns on them because the tank, the next fight starts with a lot of damage. So we're not going to skip this. You could skip this with Vision Demon Hunter Night Elf. But we're not. We're going to fight them. No big deal. Skull Mark 1. Keep the totem under them. Keep dodging and keep healing people. Trying not to spend money. What does that mean? Use a lot of Riptide. Sometimes I use even Healing Wave if I have time. But mostly Healing Stream Totem. Resetting the Healing Stream Totem. Chain Heal is very powerful. We have the talent where after Chain Heal, our initial healing of the Riptide does extra healing. And you can get like 4 million, 3.6, 3.8, 4 million initial healing on the Riptide, which is very powerful. So you can see here we don't spend any CDs here. We don't spend any healing time. We don't spend Ascendance. We don't spend anything. One thing that I forgot to do here that I should have done is I should have gone forward and triggered the boss RP, just to save a little bit of time. You have to step into his room to start the RP. I did not do that, so there's going to be a little waiting we have to do here. But our timing is like so good, we don't even have to worry about it much. And you can also drink here if the RP is not triggered. So what I like to tell people here is do not use personals on the AoE of the boss. Here, not use personals here. Use personals when you have the single target dot. That's what hurts. Because for these, you can plan your CDs. And, I have healing time, I have Ascendance, I have a link. Link, I don't even like using a link there because I can save people with a dot if they don't have defensives. What is scary about the fight is the dot. So he can apply the dot for 2 people. DK for some reason does not have AMS here, I'm not sure what's happened. So it's me and the DK. I use my big defensive. DK also uses his defensive, which I always forget the name of. The little blue guy. So we're good. So what I'm thinking now is the Warlock's gonna be next and the Paladin's gonna be next. I know that because it's always like that, right? It's always the 4 DPS healers are gonna be targeted with that. And the Warlock does not have defensives. I don't even consider that shield of his as defensive because it immediately goes out. So I need to keep an eye on the Warlock, and the Paladin does have a defensive. Here I do healing surge, the people with the dot. That's pretty much the only way to heal them as Shaman. If they don't have anything at all, you might want to drop a Spirit Link Totem to save them. This AoE on the intermission doesn't do much damage on a 16. Probably gonna change my mind on a 17, 18, but for now we're good. Zep's coming out again. Now it's Warlock, and the Paladin. Warlock has literally nothing, so I'm just spamming him, resurge on him, spamming. Paladin use Divine Shield. Alright, so next is going to be me and the Decay. I have my Shield Totem, I have my Earth Elemental, so I'm good, and Decay has Anti-Magic Shout, so it's also good.
3, 2,
so don't even worry about this. Keep doing damage. Here I forget to move my totem. Okay, I use my Earth Shield Totem. It's like the Warlock cooldown, not that big, but it can save you from one shot. For here, I have Spirit Link if I need. I don't think I'm gonna need it. Yeah, but I use it anyways. Spirit Link is another way to save mana. You literally don't have to heal people inside. You can just do healing waves or healing string totem
2, 1.
On Mythic Plus. All the self-healing gets distributed, which is so good. Here I have my big defensive back. Warlock has his big defensive back too, so we take barely any damage, which is nice. For this zap, I always try to prioritize getting ones that are very far away. Here, the Warlock tries to get the same one as me, so he gets stunned. So I just spam heal him so he doesn't die. That's going to be the Warlock, the DK, and the Paladin DK has AMS. AMS is a broken defensive, right? It stops the dot. It has so many uses. That's why one of the reasons why people love DKs is how defensive they are. Well, pretty much dead here. So we can spend whatever we want here. We can spend mana, or like 50% mana. And that's it. That's a 16. Now I need one more. I need PSF and should have all resilience. Thanks for watching.